5 minutes in the shed. It's been a while since I did a video. I have been doing stuff, pretty boring stuff, that's why I haven't videoed it, but I thought it'd be a good time to show you the progress on what I've done so far. Right, got a few things to show you. I've been working on the front end mostly over the last few weeks. Now the problem with the front end was it was a bit dirty and messy, and I've been doing a lot of polishing. And there's nothing more boring than watching someone on a polishing machine polishing a bit of aluminium, so I've spared you that pain. So first things, look at the yokes. Now these yokes, they're okay, you know, they're made out of aluminium and everything, but they had like really rough cast marks around the sides, and they were a real matte finish. So what I've done is I've filed off all the cast marks, and I've put a nice polished edge, at least on the outsides of it. It's a bit difficult to polish on the inside there, but at least the outside's quite nice now. I've also took a bit of a twist. There was a twist in this bottom yoke. I've bent that out as well. So bottom yoke, top yoke the same. Again, it had rough cast marks all the way around the outside, so I filed those off, smoothed them down, wet sanded it, then went over it with a polisher, and it's come up quite nice. Not 100%, but you know, it's I think it's good enough for a street scrambler. Forks wise, so the fork legs, these were really rough down the sides. Now the problem is they were so pitted and so deep and rough cast that if I'd have got them to a mirrored finish, there wouldn't be any metal left. So I didn't want to sand through all the metal. So I've taken them to a reasonable shine on the front, back and the outside. The inside edge is still a little bit rough, but it's turned out quite nice. So that's both of the fork legs. The other thing as well, the bottoms on the forks. This one is a standard one, and if you remember from an earlier video, I only had one standard block. The other one was one that someone had hacksawed and filed out of a block of aluminium. What I've done with that is I've rubbed a round file around it and tried to give it a bit of form to match the shape of the original one. It's turned out okay, it's near enough. Basically what I did was, let's put it on the right way, I went around with a scribe and scribed to the shape of the fork leg, and that gave me the shape to file it down to. So they're all done. Fork internals are all cleaned up. They're all done. I've got some new stanchions for it. Some new shiny stanchions with no pitting, which is nice. I've got some new fork seals and new O-rings for the dampers. So these are the dampers here, and the O-ring sits in the top there. That goes in the bottom there. That bolts to the bottom of the fork leg inside there. Then the slider, which in this end slides over the top, like that. Now, what I found was, the interesting thing I found, when I got these new sliders, when I took it out of the plastic packaging, this outside was horrible. It was all sticky with some sort of residue on it. So I cleaned all that off, because obviously we don't want to slide a fork seal up and down it when it's all sticky and not damage the new fork seal. And then I thought to myself, well, if the outside's dirty, maybe the inside's dirty too. And the inside has an O-ring rubbing up and down inside it. So I had a look down the end of it, absolutely filthy, I couldn't believe it. So what I've done is I've saved one here to show everyone. I don't know if you can see on the video whether it's coming out very well, but this is really sticky and horrible on the outside. And then on the inside, let's see if I can get this on the camera. If you look down the tube itself, see all the swarf and dirt in there. It's never been cleaned out since it's been kind of machined and stuff. So obviously that's all got to be cleaned out before I put these forks together. Otherwise we're going to just, these new O-rings that go on these dampers here, so we'll just put these new O-rings on there. When I put that in the fork tube, that's going to wreck it. So I need to clean that before I do anything else. So that's where I am with the forks. I guess the next stage is to put them all together. One thing I wanted to show everybody before I start doing that, and it's a bit weird, I haven't taken the fork seals out of these. Usually you would before you clean them up, but I wanted to show the camera. Now, can you see the difference with the fork seals? So this one's got a bit of a kind of dust lip to the edge of it. Now, I thought they were different seals, but they're not. These are a set of standard seals that I'm going to put in. When the seal's upside down, it looks like that. So one of them has always been an upside down. Must have been replaced on its own. Very strange. So I'll rectify that before I put them together. Okay. Right, I thought I might just show you before I get on with putting the forks together the kind of stuff I've been using to polish all the fork legs down in case you're doing any polishing at home. I would recommend, if you want something polishing, send it away, get it polished. That's the easiest thing in the world. If not, you're just going to get black and absolutely filthy, which I did a lot. So, where do you start? So, wire brush rotary wheel, that's pretty good at taking off some really big chunks of dirt and corrosion and stuff like that, but it gives you a very, very rough finish. Brass wire wheel, a little bit finer, doesn't leave steel residue, pretty cool. Then I've also got rotary Scotch-Brite pads. Scotch-Brite pads are really good for doing stuff that has a cast finish that you just want to clean up. So they're quite handy. When you want to get the metal down to something really smooth, obviously cast marks, start with a big file, take it down to a smaller file, go down to an even thinner file. If you've got a form to it, you need a round edge file. If you're trying to shape some blocks at the end of your forks, what you need is a round file and a smaller round file and another half smooth, half round file. Wire brush, also very good at getting in all the little bits. Then you have to start with rough sanding pad. These are pretty cool actually. They're flexible, so great for a fork leg because they bend around. So that's a rough one. That's a medium one. Takes it down a little bit smoother. Then you've got these foam pads. How many grit are these? 220 grit, but they're about worn out, so they're a lot smoother. So you can wrap those around, give it a rub down with that. Finer grit one there. Bit more Scotch-Brite. Then you get to the polishing wheels. Polishing wheels, I've got a couple. I haven't got a big polishing wheel. I should get a big polishing wheel. I think I will for when I start to polish that. But I've got these little polishing wheels. So that one worked quite well. Little one for getting in smaller places. Then machinery wise, obviously a drill for anything that's spinny. You need a drill to make things spin. I've got an orbital sander, one that you use in the house. That's pretty effective actually, just for smoothing things down, because it's got like a soft pad underneath it, so it forms a little bit as you sand it. The other thing, detail sander. I thought this would be pretty good, but these things velcro onto the head there, and you've got different grades of paper, so that's pretty good. But these velcro heads, when you've got that on and you're trying to do in detail bits, it gets hot and it melts the edge of the velcro and then it starts to fall off. Not actually that good. Might be good for when you're varnishing your windows in your house, but not really for polishing bits of motorbike. So that's the very kind of amateurish way that I did the polishing. There are better ways, but it got my forks nice, ready for building. Just thought I'd bring you up to speed with that.